Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Well, today's video will be probably a long one, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Recently, here on the channel, we cruised on past 30,000 subscribers, which, yay! Thank y'all so much for being here and supporting the work that I'm trying to do and the whole project. And I asked if people had any questions for me, which you definitely did, and we'll be getting to those here shortly. I think I would like to reintroduce myself just a little bit and maybe talk about what I do here on this channel, because the project is far bigger than just the videos. So the website, we have a website, currently rockhounding.com. I've never made a real website before. Sarah doesn't made a real website. We made it ourselves. This is kind of a 1.5 person show. It's primarily me, and then Sarah helps with certain activities here on the channel. We make between 2 and sometimes even 5 videos if you count the members' videos. So that's a lot of videos. We as well travel to a lot of interesting rock and mineral localities to do some collecting, as well as do the lapidary stuff. We have a podcast, the Previously Rockhounding podcast, which many of you already listen to, and you can find that everywhere. And it's where me and Sarah, we have a huge stack, right? A huge stack of old Rock and Gem magazine issues from the 70s and 80s, and we read through them. We both take a bunch of notes, and we come together on the podcast and we talk about them so that we can kind of have some greater understanding of this whole like rock and mineral world, some back history, right? It's important to have that kind of context when you're thinking about what you're doing today. And we've thoroughly enjoyed it. We're aiming to do 50 of them. So we do that every couple of weeks. It's actually a lot of work to do that type of preparation. I take anywhere between 3 and 6 pages of typed notes per issue so that we can have do a lot of in-depth research. I've built a lot of my own machines, which we've shown here on the channel, and I make the blueprints for free on the website. I think what it comes down to is I really just enjoy sharing this thing that has made me very, very happy, and I want other people to find some happiness in it as well. Currently, the YouTube channel, is, depending on the metrics that you want to look at, is ranked about 2,100 out of all of the channels that publish under the education category here on YouTube, which I am very happy of. That's big. I want to share the things that I have learned. The channel has allowed me to compress the education time in the world of rock and minerals. It allows me to be my primary focus, which is amazing. I didn't think that I was going to end up here in life. My direction when I was younger was not good. It was not good. I am 39 years old, soon to be 40, and man, my background is I'm a high school dropout, never finished high school, never went to college, but I do love reading, so that has helped me immensely growing up. And everything is self-taught. Helps to have a lot of motivation. Formerly a drunk, homeless train hopper, and I extricated myself from that life and started a business back when we lived in Oregon, and sold that business, and just kind of upward trajectory in life, met Sarah. We discovered rockhounding by going to the Oregon coast and looking for something to do. And once I realized there's neat little rocks on the beach, I was hooked. That was 2016. That was 2016, I believe. Since then, we have relocated to beautiful Northeast Washington, and that brings us kind of up to now, where we get to go do rockhounding and lapidary stuff and explore old mines. And the channel has taken me to many places that I never thought I would ever seen, and it's very cool. What can I say? It's cool. I like it. I love it, and I have high hopes for the future. So, before we get into the questions, the 30,000 subscribers here, that's very cool, and that is definitely the most public metric here on YouTube that you can just see on anybody's channel. The metric that matters most to me, I actually passed a long time ago, which was 50,000 consistent unique viewers per month. Okay, currently I think I'm like 50 to 65,000 people. So those are, you know, people that are unique IP addresses and come and watch the content. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of this fun stuff that we have going on here. The questions. So many of you, like Oregon Rocks, said, congratulations, man, 30K is quite the milestone. Our channel just hit 1/50th of that, and I am very happy. I can't imagine how you feel. Hard work is eventually rewarded. Oregon Rocks has an awesome YouTube channel, and I enjoy going over there and watching his stuff. Cool guy. Go check him out. This is something that I spend 60 hours a week on. I mean, I answer every comment. I get a slew of emails every week from people asking questions and wanting help with rock and mineral identification, which that's another, man, we've pursued many activities here on this channel, and that might be one of the more difficult ones, is the proper identification of rocks and minerals. So, so many people said congratulations. I can't thank y'all enough. Lisa, who many of you know Lisa, said congratulations. She went on a little bit, and she said, I almost forgot questions. I know that you're knee-deep in the podcast and website, plus real jobs and lives get in the way of rock hounding. But if all that were aside and money were not an object, what and where in the world would you go after? Man, that's a tough one. I love being here in the Pacific Northwest. Northeast Washington is fabulous. That's hard because I spend a lot of time just kind of focusing on what is immediately here, and I guess I don't spend much time thinking about elsewhere. Mexico is on my radar. Mexico would be amazing to go to, but a lot of the stuff that you could go to in Mexico are private mines, and they probably don't want somebody like me going and poking around, hanging out at their mine. Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico are high up on the list. Future return trips to Utah, probably. That would be a lot of fun. But very happy. Right here is what we enjoy. She continues, and I know that you tend to collect specimen pieces and small ideal pieces for micromounts. And I already know that basalt and zeolites hold a special place in your heart, but zeolites especially come in so many forms. Is there one in particular that you wish you could find, and what and where is it? So, man, the zeolite group is an interesting group of minerals. I'm primarily interested in the natural ones. There's a lot of synthetic zeolites in this world now. 234 man-made zeolites were, I mean, I'm not super interested in the man-made ones. I want to go out into beautiful outdoors and find them naturally. Man, I more analcime. I would like a nice chunky little analcime. I've got like teeny tiny guys, but a legit one that has good structure would be awesome. Unfortunately, Lisa also has a question for Sarah, but Sarah's not here right now. It's just me. And she asks about fossils. Sarah's fond of fossils. I think what would she like to find? I think Sarah would like to find some more well-formed trilobites, similar to what we found in Utah at the UDIG trilobite site. Also some ammonites. That would be a lot of fun. The Majestic Leprechaun, who is a very cool guy, I like him a lot, says, congratulations. I cannot remember how long it's been since I've joined your channel, but you've came a long ways. Thank you very much. Question. What is the most memorable moment, and what is the most shocking moment on the YouTube journey? Well, most memorable, something that stands out a lot for me, was our visit to the China Hollow picture jasper mine down there in, I guess you'd call that like north central Oregon, and seeing the boulder, the picture jasper boulder that was like 7 feet long and like 5 feet tall, which is crazy to see something like that. That's a big piece of picture jasper. That was kind of one of the things I didn't expect to see. I mean, you know, we interact with rocks and minerals in this way where we see common sized things, right? And when you see something that is in your mind like that big, and then you see it and it's bigger than you, you're like, that stands out a lot. Man, the most shocking moment on my YouTube journey, probably when I realized that people fake content. That was kind of like I couldn't believe it, but there's a fair number of YouTube channels now where they fake rockhounding. Some are more egregious than others, and like it's really obvious to anybody with matter between their ears that it's fake. And then there's other people that just kind of like borderline fake stuff, or like seed their finds, and just kind of seeing like the icky underbelly of it was kind of like, ugh, like kind of took me back a little bit. We have a question here from Outdoor Adventures. I have a few questions. What actually is your favorite color, favorite mineral, favorite area you've rockhounded? If possible, could you talk about quartzite and knowledge you have pertaining to it? You cover everything rockhounding related on your channel, and I feel you're the best steward for our rockhounding community. Well-deserved 30K, my friend. Okay, thank you very much. Favorite color? Hopefully it's obvious. Gray. Gray is my favorite color. Yeah, gray and brown, I guess. And I know it's not very exciting. Maybe people were expecting me to say something wild, but I prefer the mute earth tones. Favorite mineral? Man, I'm going to pick a group. I'm going to say the zeolite group of minerals is the best, or my favorite. Along with thunder eggs, those two are kind of my primary interests. So it helps to have, I guess, a little bit of specialty in this. I mean, I love all things rock mineral related. It's all cool. Let's see, the favorite area that we've rockhounded. It's hard to beat Central Oregon. Let's be honest. Central Oregon has some of the most diverse geology, high access as far as roads. You have tons of different things to go for and great weather. Yeah, Central Oregon might be the best. The quartzite. So yeah, I can absolutely do something about quartzite in the future. One of the things I planned on continuing this winter was the explained series, which I've done a couple of here. Let's see, we've done thunder eggs and petrified wood, agates and jasper, but I would like to do quartz crystals explained, rhyolite explained, basalt explained, and quartzite explained. I think those would be kind of fun. Possibly get into some more like granitic stuff. Different granodiorites and things like that are pretty cool, and it's not something that people usually talk about. Kyle asks, can you talk more about researching known locations? For example, what process did you go through to find the fossil spot at the Ochako Pass? What medium usually gives you the most info that you're looking for? Old magazines. I'll admit I haven't gotten into watching the podcast yet. How about finding old mines? I've not really done much research in the past, but I still find great stuff nonetheless. Well, the research of localities is something I usually do early in the morning. Generally, I go to bed at 9 and I wake up at like 3 a.m. and I sit on the computer and I look up places for us to go. The Ochako Pass It is a well-known locality that's been published in places like the Orban, which the Orban is awesome. He's talking about the fossils off of Highway 26 in Central Oregon. The Orban listed a locality, which is kind of like their monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly thing about geology and stuff in Oregon. They listed the road cut off of Highway 26 as having fossils. That road cut's sketchy though. I mean, I love a good road cut. I'll stop at a road cut and pick away if it's safe. But when you're like, there's not a good shoulder and you're on a curve, that's no rock or fossil is worth getting smushed by a car. So we were like looking at like that geologic formation and then like what else is out there. And that's how we found that road cut. It was just kind of poking around in satellite photos and things like that. That's a great method of taking a known locality, seeing the geology that it is, or the geological unit, extending that out, look for public lands, look at satellite photos. We use Gaia for all of this, Gaia GPS, which that's a thing that we've talked about a lot here on the channel. So yeah, I mean, we use all forms of resources. The books, Rockhounding books, they can help clue you in on stuff. I know I've been very critical of the books, especially recently. That's okay. At the very least, you can use them as a means to kind of create a big picture in your mind of what is out there. You know, I'm going to keep picking on Central Oregon because why not? Yeah, there's a lot there. You know, you can flip through it and be like thunder eggs and jaspers and petrified woods and fossils and obsidian and limb casts and agate and all these different things. Now, maybe those locations are not really good to go to right now or whatever, but you can certainly use that to be like, oh, what material is in this area? How did that material get produced, and where else could you potentially find it? So they're good for that at the very least. Dustin finds rocks. I like that guy. Dustin's a good guy. He's can you see that up there? Dustin's a good guy. He's down in the South. He's down in the South. Missouri, Arkansas, all of that. He says, congratulations. Wow, what a milestone. I'm interested to hear what motivated you to start your YouTube channel. Well, Dustin, I remember the conversation quite, is very clear in my mind. I was talking with Sarah and I was like, at this time, there's like basically no real rockhounding channels. Like, I don't want to be like, I'm the first. Like, people had put content up there, but there wasn't like a channel, you know, when we started posting here. I was like, do you think people would want to see us go do this? Is this a thing? You know, to be honest, a lot of my motivation for starting the channel was probably negative, right? I had like reached out to different people and it was like asked for help and people basically snubbed me. People were like, meh, like not wanting to be helpful whatsoever. And I was like, well, what if I figure it all out myself and I help everybody and screw those people? So maybe not the best motivation for starting a YouTube channel, but it's turned out well, I guess. You know, the people that are mean, jerks, and unhelpful, well, they can kick rocks. He continues. For me, it was the fact that Arkansas has like 100 plus crystal mines, which they certainly do. They have a lot of crystal mines down there in Arkansas, and Missouri has 0. I grew up thinking you couldn't find crystals in Missouri other than geodes. It was sad. I just wanted to find crystals. When I discovered the Bonanza in Washington County, I was shocked that there were no places to collect the awesome lace agate druzy quartz, which very cool material down there. So I made it a mission to make people aware, which that's a great motivation, better than mine. Hearing my inner child and helping children of all ages pursue their rockhounding dreams, I guess. I'm curious if there was something that really motivated you. What were you hoping to accomplish? I guess we kind of already talked on that. I'm hoping that with this channel, with the website, with all of the podcast, the platform, that all of the mean, grumpy people that try to gatekeep it, I can crush them, flatten them. Don't do that. There's literally billions of rocks to be found. There's absolutely, in no way, a shortage of rock. There's plenty for everybody to go around, and yeah. That. CCV Gems says, congratulations, 30K is astounding. Thank you very much. I love all your content and candor. I'm a knowledge seeker. You have had some great ideas and suggestions on research, and this is why I keep coming back. Questions. Jared, have you considered publishing any of the content that you've shared with us? If yes, what and where will it be available for us to read? Besides your website. I've thought so much about publishing. I think I'm going to stick with the website for a number of reasons. Mostly the ability to update it immediately. Okay? And that's a big factor. The problem with the books is they are, at the time that you get the printed thing, it's out of date. It's out of date. And they do a terrible job. There's different styles of books that I think are good, but the traditional guidebook, as you probably have some of them yourself, I think it's a bad idea. It's a bad format. It's not good. So I'm going to stick with my website for the time being and not rule out the idea of publishing something, but the website is free, ad-free, and forever updatable. So that's kind of my primary focus, is to give it all away and not have that barrier of, oh, you got to buy my thing, and I don't like that. Are there any exciting new locations, new minerals you're looking for or planning on visiting in the next 12 months? Yes, there is. I want to spend some time on the west side of Washington, which for those of you who are not aware, Washington, almost everybody lives on the west side of the state. We live out in the east side. So I should probably go and hit some localities on the west side. I think it'd make for good content and have it close to the population density. New minerals? Yes. I don't want to tip my hat. Yes, there are some interesting things over there on the west side that I would say are mostly forgotten about, and I would like to aim a light on because I think they're very, very interesting. Question for Sarah. Can you tell us how you got started rockhounding? We got started together on the Oregon coast, picking up some little tiny agates. What type of fossils do you like to collect? I should have had Sarah here for this, but timing didn't work out. Pretty much anything that's not plant fossils. It's hard to get excited about partial leaves. Trilobites are very cool. They say anything besides dinosaurs, they get dibs on that. Well, thank you very much. Some of the usernames here I struggle with. You guys have some difficult usernames. Not in Manitou says, congratulations, Jared. You and Sarah and Leica have done a great job. Thank you very, very much. Can you give the name or a link to the SOS beacon? Yes, I can. It's not really a question per se, but an idea. It would be neat if on a Saturday especially you'd pick a rock or mineral, give a short talk about it. Lots of time you mention something that I've never heard. So, the beacon, I will be right back. Here's my beacon. This is my personal locator beacon. This is the one that I chose to go with. Now, when we go out into the middle of nowhere and we do all of this rock hounding stuff, it's important to not die. There's beacons that you can have like connect to your phone, and you can use an app, and it's like two-way communication through satellites. There's ones that like spot, the one from Garmin, what's it called? I don't know. And then there's the ACR. This one is particularly cool because the battery lasts for 5 years. You don't have to charge it or anything, but after 5 years, you send it into the company and they replace the battery. You pop the antenna, you flip it up, you hit that red button, and anywhere on the planet Earth, a signal will go up to the satellites, and it will go to a not a call center, the emergency dispatch center, and they will contact local search and rescue, and they will come retrieve you. It won't happen immediately. You should definitely have a plan to self-rescue when you go out to places. Have the plan in place, and but the thing is, sometimes bad things happen. We don't have any of the two-way communicators because we don't really have any friends in real life that could go where we go. So, you know, if we live in Northeast Washington, if we're in the middle of nowhere, Utah, I can't exactly like two-way communicator somebody and be like, yo, come out and help me. No, this is like a life and death emergency thing. So our plan is to always rescue ourselves unless it's truly life-threatening. I like the ACR. You know, this is like waterproof, crush-proof, everything-proof, dust-proof, and you just like have it in your bag and forget about it until you need it. Hopefully you never need it. Hopefully you're just paying for new batteries forever. He has another question. Do you know of any computer software or catalog for rocks and minerals, like to, you know, catalog your whole collection, I would assume? I was working on my family history stuff the other night, filling out some forms, and thought it'd be cool if somebody's devised a system. So this is something that I'm going to be working on this winter. I'm going to be cataloging everything that's in the house. I think that should be a lot of fun. My plan is to use just a spreadsheet. I'm just like a spreadsheet on the computer. I'm going to take every rock and glue a little number to it, and that number is going to correspond with a spreadsheet, and I'll have all the info about that particular rock, where I got it. Because, you know, these rocks that we collect are very cool, but if they lose the locality kind of info, the info about it, they hold a lot less meaning. They have no real, I guess, I don't want to say scientific value, but a little bit, yeah. They lose their provenance. So important to keep that. Question from Captain Erica. Captain Erica, me and her, we go way back. Before the rockhounding stuff. Very, very cool woman. You can check out her channel as well. She does like wilderness stuff, outdoor stuff, which I also was very into for a while. Definitely want to know favorite color. Obviously, it's the muted earth tones, the grays, and what your dream rockhounding spot area and desired minerals. Well, zeolites and thunder eggs. The Hauser beds are of particular interest down there in Southern California. Yeah. Man, you can go over to Lapidary Dave's videos down there. He's down there with Sweet Jim, and it looks completely awesome. I would love to go down there. Cecilia asks, well deserved. She's referring to the subscribers. I would love an episode about wedging and clamping odd-shaped rocks, large rocks in the saw, risks and rewards of doing so. So she's referring to like big oil slab saws. It can be a challenge, you know. I mean, sometimes you have this like perfect blocky rock, and it just like clamps into your saw perfectly. Other things like even, you know, round thunder eggs, river tumbled stuff, not so much. There's a whole bunch of different kind of like clamping systems that you can devise, and wedging with wood wedges and stuff to try to like finagle something in there. I think the best thing that I've ever came up with is literally to try to avoid it at all possible and collect stuff with the idea in mind that you're going to be cutting it on a big slab saw. I think that's by far the best method, is to not do it and just like collect with the idea that it's going to go through your slab saw. So, but yes, I can absolutely show some of like my fixtures for the saw. I plan on welding up some new ones this winter, which will be awesome. Aklawaha Boy Rocks, which another excellent YouTuber here, says, congrats. If you had to get rid of all but one rock, which one would you keep? Well, I think probably the one that I would keep is, we have a couple of jars, so it's more than one, I guess, but a couple of the jars of the very dinky little tiny mini agates that me and Sarah found on our first rock hounding trip together. I would keep those ones. All the other ones would be the ones that would go. Amy asks, have you done any rock hounding in Utah? We certainly have. We were in Utah last year. I believe we went to 10 locations. All the videos are online. There's a Utah playlist here on the channel, as well as all the localities on the website. Kyle has some questions for Sarah here. Why do you like basalt so much? I don't think Sarah likes basalt very much. That's more, I mean, she's okay with it. But that's more something that I've pursued a lot, because I see a lot of value in learning about your country rock, your granites, basalts, rhyolites, if you live in sedimentary land, that stuff. You know, often these things that we go and look for are the needle in the haystack, and the haystack being, you know, in my case, a lot of big basalt flows. And I've learned so much about geology and cool rocks and interesting minerals by paying attention and learning a lot about the country rock that we have. Basalt in particular out here, you know, we have the multiple big flows. So the Columbia River Basalt Group, and having learned so much about it and collected so many different pieces of basalt from different flows, I'm pretty good at even just distinguishing now. Like, we can be driving and I can see like a road cut, and I can be like, oh, it's Grand Ronde basalt flow, it's Wanapum, it's Priest, it's, you know, whatever, Rosa number. So that's kind of fun. It's, you know, just it's good to pick something and try to massively digest that material. How big is your discard pile? The discard pile in the backyard is probably like 10 foot by 12 foot pile that's probably yay deep of stuff that we have collected, and then we're like, you know, that's kind of a natural progression, right? Like, over time, like, your standards are going to change. What you consider good is going to change. You're going to high grade your own collection, because even if you pick up just a couple of things, you know, like, people don't, here's the thing, people don't realize that lapidary takes a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of machines, and it costs money, right? Like, diamonds, the pads, all these things cost money. And if you're collecting the material that you're working with, like, obviously you're not going to like cut and polish 100% of it. And not everything's going to be good enough to go in your house. And yeah, you can give it away. But many of us, we just kind of produce a discard pile. Kyle also continues, and they ask if we've ever used a Dremel, the diamond bit, to do something like this, which a viewer sent in here on the channel of the logo, which is pretty cool. That's very, very awesome. No, I have not. I have not done any carving or anything like that. Man, maybe someday in the future, I guess, right? That would be be fun. They continue. They had a long comment. Thank you, Kyle. I will generally say my wife and I think you two are doing a great job with the channel. Your presentation is great. You have reasonable perspective, minimal takes. We don't get that bull like you do with a lot of other channels, going with all the clickbait. I also think talking about laws and regulations as the collection limits in various locations, it adds valuable info. So basically they're asking about the legalities of rock hounding, which is, okay, so I've made a video twice now that I never uploaded, where I kind of delve deep into the rules and regulations of rock hounding. It's a hard topic. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to really do it justice. Also, I'm not a lawyer, even though I'm well versed in all of the rules and regulations governing the collection of rocks and minerals on public lands. Even there's rules as far as what you can do on private land as well, claims and all of that. Man, that would probably be like, to do it justice would be like an hour-long video at least. And things are subject to change. It's hard. It's hard to get into. Robbie says, been here close to 2 years. I think I owe you a lot. Saw 2 Subarus pass as I was at a rockhound spot yesterday and always wanted to jump down and see if it was you and Sarah passing by. You never know. You never know. He just got the high-tech diamond flat lap, and he's still having a lot of scratches coming from the 3000 grit disc. I feel like I should skip it and then use the glass mineral pads after 600 grit diamond flat lap. Any ideas? Could I have sediment stuck on the disc that I need to scrub off? Yes, you absolutely could have that. So when we're talking about these fiber discs, so you have fiber discs and diamond discs, right? It is important to not cross-contaminate these things. So it's good practice to wash your rock between stages, and that way you're not going between them. Don't recirculate any of your water. Just drain it out. Or, people want to reuse the water. If you're having scratches continue, you have to go back a couple of stages. I would start by washing all of your resin pads and your diamond pads, like warm water, dish soap, scrub them out. Make sure you're not bringing grit along to the next stage. And if you still have any problems, you can shoot me an email. That doesn't sound right. You shouldn't have scratches continuing on. So we've already answered the favorite rock and mineral from, not Katie did in Montana, different Katie did. Judy asks, what would you recommend for an 18 or 20 inch slab saw? That's tough. Not many manufacturers out there nowadays are to pick from, unfortunately. 18 to 20 inch. I mean, I know Covington Engineering out of Idaho, they're like 16 weeks out or something ridiculous like that on their saws. Highland Park has their own issues. They're manufactured in China, far cheaper, but not as good service on the saws. In the perfect world, you're probably trolling Facebook Marketplace for a used one, an older used saw. That's going to be the best bang for your buck. And know that's going to probably show up with some problems, and you're going to have to work on those problems. That's probably what I would do. Getting a hold of people that locally, rock clubs, things like that can be a great resource for trying to locate some of the bigger, older equipment. Man, I struggle with kind of recommending stuff. If it was me right now, I have to buy a saw. I would probably buy a Highland Park saw and know that if it shows up screwed up in the crate, I can fix it. There's not a good manufacturer of big saws anymore. There just isn't. There's nobody making big lapidary equipment that is stateside, that makes something good, that's available immediately at a reasonable price and has reasonable, good customer service. That just doesn't exist in it right now. Maybe it will in the future. As of right now, most things are a disappointment. I have a question here from Kitty Fruit Loop. Hello, I just bought the National Geographic Crystal Growing Kit for the first time, and I'm suddenly wondering how and why it works. And I'm wondering about tips to success beyond the instruction booklet. I have no idea what that thing is, but I assume it's just like, so is it sodium crystals? Is that what that is? Sorry, I have not done any of those crystal growing kits. Shimmery Sound asks, what state do you plan on rockhounding that you haven't been to yet? Wyoming. Wyoming, it would be high up there on the list for me. Toby Kenobi asks if we are going to be writing a book anytime soon about rockhounding in Washington State. No. That's simple. I'm going to just keep writing on the website. So that's the plan there. A number of you here asked about where I would want to go, including Backcountry with Sean. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh yeah, that other place. Backcountry with Sean, who he's an awesome guy, also has some videos up here on YouTube. We've hung out before. You've seen him here on the channel. Yeah, so he asks, where would we want to go? What would we go and collect? Other than Mexico and that kind of like southern region, Wyoming is up there. I don't really know what there is to find in. I would like to maybe go to some of the states that you wouldn't expect. You don't hear a lot of people like rockhounding in the Midwest. Even though there's plenty of cool stuff in the Midwest, I think that would be fun to just like pick an area that nobody really talks about and like shine a bright light on it and be like, look what's here, everybody. Ohio, Nebraska. That would be fun. That'd be fun. Who knows if we'll ever get out there, though. Miss Claudette asks, what have you discovered regarding the legality of walking rivers in Washington State? That's hard, okay, because different municipalities, counties within the state have some different rules and regulations. There's the whole navigatable waterway. As a general rule of thumb, always lean towards not trespassing. And there is generally, if a body of water is able to be navigated, which is also hard. What does that mean? Definitely fact check me on this. But imagine there's a river and you could take a kayak down it, a canoe, a float in an inner tube. Below the high water mark is generally accessible to the public, even if you're cutting through private property. But it's also kind of like, what does that mean? What about historic high water marks? Is that the point of reference? What about if the average annually isn't the average historically? It's kind of like it when you see it, right? Like, don't lean towards not trespassing when you're walking creeks and streams. I feel like I did a bad job with that question. I did a bad job there. Allosaurus asks, hey, what happened to the video you posted on the Troy light? I took that video down. That's one of the few videos that I took down. There's some kind of big mistakes in it that I made. So rather than just having to leave it up, and I don't know, I didn't like the video and I made some mistakes in it, and that will happen occasionally, and I reserve the right to take it down. Hedgehog asks, hey, there's a road cut near Chelan. Chelan's in central Washington with stretched granite. Looks like sexy zebra stripes. We would love to slab this material for our tiny bathhouse. Can you cut stones into tiles? Please collect some if can. So I think I know the area that you're talking about, and it's actually migmatite. It's the migmatite unit over there, and I really don't know anything about migmatite, but it is cool looking, and maybe next time we're out by Chelan, we will pick some up. So you want to slab some of it up. I mean, do you have a slab saw? I mean, you can slab it up. I don't see why you can't cut it into tiles. I mean, you'd have to have a big slab saw. Artsy Apple asks, I like this question. What's the most common, fancier mineral found anywhere? I can never find anything where I am. All the fun stuff's about 2 hours or more so, or 2 hours away for them. We drive a huge amount here on the channel to go collect the stuff that we do. Generally, I would, I mean, I don't know where you live. I mean, 2 hours can mean a lot, depending on where you're at. There's a lot of granites everywhere, and I think granite is something that people don't fully appreciate. It's kind of cool to see like pegmatite diking and different stuff like that. It really depends on the region. Sorry, I can't, without a general locale, I can't really answer that very well. Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm asks, any chance on getting some trade of specimens? I don't typically trade stuff, maybe on very limited basis, but I don't put out that I trade anything with anybody because I don't have enough material to trade with everybody that watches the channel, so I just kind of keep it all to myself. We do a giveaway over on the number side of the channel, but that's about it as far as that goes. Darlene has the last question here, and it's kind of a long one. Kind of a long one, but I'll summarize this. She's asking what she kind of needs to train her eye for. I guess some sort of breakdown of what really to look for, and that's tough because yeah, you certainly can kind of like tune your eye to something. I would highly recommend going, man, that's tough because there's not really an easy way to do it other than just like look at a ton of rocks. And the more you're able to pick something up, hold it, break it in half, look at fresh material, and then apply a name to it and be like, okay, this is this. Doing that just like with hundreds and thousands of different things, both in person and in books, is a great way to do it. Yeah, YouTube's a great way to do it. I mean, provided the person showing rocks here knows exactly what it is that you're looking at. I might have to reapproach this one at a later date because the idea of training your eyes to see something is a thing, but it's also very intangible, A prime example of that is people that go rock hunting on the Yellowstone River, right? Like people like Katie did, she can just like laser focus down and find those agates and petrified wood out there. We never go to streams on the channel, so that would be a much harder thing for us to do. And yeah, I guess it's just experience. It's experience. It's time in the field, time looking at rocks, and that. Hopefully I answered that one all right. Maybe that will be in the next Saturday night special. Well, y'all, hey, thank you so much for all of the questions. Thanks for the support, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this more casual, laid-back video out here in the shop. We will get back to our regularly scheduled programming next week, and we'll leave this one here. Y'all take care, and I'll catch you on the next video.